this answer. Go on. Good morning. You're welcome to this wonderful edition of Bystanders on the Newsstands. It's a great day that the Lord has made that we will rejoice and be glad in it. I want to say welcome to all our viewers all around the world. It's a wonderful morning and it's a wonderful edition. And let's go over to the newspaper headlines this morning. We have two wonderful papers with us. We have the Nigerian Tribune and also the Vanguard newspaper. What do we have on the Tribune this morning? The Tribune says PDP orders mount pressure on Buhari to sack Pantami. PDP others are mounting pressure on Buhari to sack Pantami. DSS should also investigate him, PDP adds. Middlebelt Forum wants him to resign. Pantami should not succumb to blackmail. That is from Murik, a Muslim organization. At the top of the paper, we have global COVID-19 death toll surpasses 3 million. Still talking about the COVID-19. And also looking at the party APC, PDP, he said neither APC nor PDP can redeem Nigeria. This is accredited to Yakasai. Neither APC nor PDP can redeem Nigeria. Who then can redeem Nigeria if the youths rise up with their own party? CBN's threat to state over Obaseki's claim show governance has plummeted. CBN's threat to state over Obaseki claim shows that governance has plummeted. This is from the PDP governors. The claim of 60 billion naira cash that was printed by the CBN accused from Obaseki. Now let's go to the middle. Don't listen to secessionists. FG tells Nigerians, the federal government is telling Nigerians that they should not listen to agitators of secession in Nigeria. Now we are looking at the school children abductions. It says accusations unfortunate. Urged CBN's Emefiele not to be distracted. Leave Obaseki alone, PB governors, FG, APC governors. His claim can't be spurious. These are credited to Wike. Now, looking at insecurity, the Vanguard tells us that Igbo Congress rejects Ebube Agu. World Igbo Congress rejects Ebube Agu. Ask Southeast governors to fortify ESN. The World Igbo Congress, they are rejecting the outfit created by the Southeast governors and they are supporting ESN created by IPOB. They are saying that the Southeast governors should fortify ESN. Now, Southeast governors, Ohanese, others compiling names of IPOB members, ESN operatives to hand over to military. The IPOB is saying that the Southeast governors, Ohanese and others are compiling names of IPOB members, ESN operatives to hand over to the military. That's why the World Igbo Congress is rejecting Ebube Agu and asks Southeast governors to fortify ESN. Now, looking at prepaid meters, indigenous producers record 79% underperformance in phase zero. Look, people have been complaining about the ridiculous bills by the electricity company in Nigeria. Now we are going to move over to our reviewers this morning, and I have with me Mr. Matthew. Mr. Matthew, good morning.
Good morning.
How was your weekend?
Fine, by the grace of God.
Now, they are pressure being mounted on Buhari to sack Bantami over the allegation of terrorism. What would you have to contribute to that?
For me, I think to the extent that he is not denying those allegations. He's only saying that he was saying those things based on his understanding at that material time, but that his orientation may have changed. But for me, however I look at it, those allegations are too weighty because he's alleged to have said that at the time he was praying that God should give victory to Taliban and Al-Qaeda. And these are world known, you are a supporter of terrorism. So to that extent, somebody of that have that orientation, handling a strategic is worrisome. Because if we look at when they have the database of the country, he's one who pretended over it. So if that mentality is still in him, which I am not even taking me seriously as in trying to preach as somebody who have done a good life, or rather a new leaf, I think the right thing to do is for federal government to relieve him of that position. If for any reason he should be given another position, he should be under clear investigation. But again, this thing brings us to the fundamentals. We see the government in the front of trying to give a position, the government telling us that they are doing underground check. DSS is doing investigation, the police is doing investigation to carry underground check of the attitude of the personality of the person involved. Does it mean these things were not available to DSS? Does it mean the presidency is not aware that this man may have made these utterances before he was given that position? Because by our standard, it is irresponsible of any government, a Nigerian government for that matter, that is fighting multiple challenges. That Boko Haram is ravaging northeast. For the government to give such sensitive position to somebody who preaches pro-terrorist group victory. For me, the government should without delay show him the door out of that office. If I think for him, by now, the honorable thing for him to do is to throw in the trowel. He should do the honorable thing and resign. But if he fails to resign, I think the government should not waste time. The government should show him the way out of that office. Because there is no way you can convince me he's an adult. By our standard, somebody of his age is a preacher, is an religious preacher. Look at the multitude of people he may have indoctrinated. Look at the number of people that see him as an elite, that see him as a role model. Look at the number of people he may have influenced by that preaching. Who knows whether some person may have listened to him and they have turned radicals. And whether some person may have listened to him and they have turned or rather volunteer to become terrorists. So how can you tell me that as a man that is of that age was praying to God to give the Taliban the Al-Qaeda victory? Just because he finds himself in a position of authority today, he's canvassing that he was saying it based on his understanding at that time. There is no, for me, it's not acceptable.
Should we finger the federal government, because before he was chosen as a minister, they must have done some background check on him. Even while he passed through the House of Assembly, they should have done this background check. But yet they have failed to do this background check. Are we not supposed to blame our federal government and the House of Representatives over this minister and his background?
That's why I'm saying that fundamentally there are certain things that are wrong in this country. You need to, when we often say that there is every need to rejig the security architecture, when we often say that there is every need to recalibrate our security architecture to conform with the modern day reality of ways of doing things, the government seems not to be willing to do that. Because issues like this, I think hair should be rolled. There are some people who were saddled with the responsibility of doing the underground check. For this man to have been given clean bill of health, to be appointed, nominated, and subsequently appointed into that strategic ministry, I think some persons need to be used as a scapegoat.
Okay, looking at this Obaseki claim over the 60 billion naira that was printed by the central bank. Now, the APC governors and the PDP governors are at war. Who should tell us the truth? Where is the truth lying there?
The way it stands, strategically, CBN is empowered to print currency. You are aware, I don't know whether you are aware, there is a Nigerian Security Printing and Minting Press, saddled with the responsibility of printing currencies and some other critical documents. There are some relevant section of this constitution that empowers the CBN through the Nigerian Security Printing and Minting Press to print currencies. But I think what is the issue is not whether CBN has the right to print or not. I think the issue is the purpose for which it's being printed. Because even as the Minister of Budget and National Planning have denied the printing, the CBN governor neither denied or accepted. But the issue is not whether the CBN have the right to print. Obviously, CBN have the right through Nigerian Security and Minting Press to print currency. But if you look at the purpose for which we are printing, look at other area, other clime. you print to inject into companies, into banks,
Infrastructure.
into infrastructural development. But the worrisome aspect of Nigeria is that the printing is being made for consumption purpose. Ordinarily, it is just out of place for CBN to print if they are intervening in the area of buying security in companies, in banks. But at the time we are printing to give to the federal government for purpose of sharing at the FEC, at the sorry, FAC. I think that is the worrisome trend, because at the time our inflation rate is 18 point something percent. If you continue printing and you continue printing for purpose of consumption, it will lead to inflation. It will increase the rate of inflation. So I think that is the major issue. It's not about whether CBN have right to print or not. Bible said that. I think we should interrogate the spending of federal government.
Yeah.
Because there are so many areas where the government needed to cut costs.
Yeah.
I do not see any reason Nigerian parliamentary system, Nigerian Senate, House of Representatives, I don't see the reason they should be running full time. I think it's a waste of resources. I think the Nigerian system should be calibrated in such a way that the parliament should run on a part-time basis to free some funds. And again, the wastage in our current governance system, I think the government need to block wastages. There are so many areas where the government is not prudent in spending.
They're not accountable.
Apart from being accountable, most of the people who are saddled responsible of spending public funds, they are not prudent in spending it. Then again, look at the issue of security votes. The way it's being managed, it tells you that states, the governors, the presidency, they mismanage it, because this is money that is not being receipted, and it runs into billions of trillions of naira and billions of naira, as the case may be, depending on whether it's the presidency, governor of the or the office of the governor. So what I'm trying to say is that this chunk of money that is not being receipted, that is being spent on the will and caprices of the governor and the presidency, there is every need to make it prudent, to make it accountable, so that you free some funds to put into other areas of need. But I don't think CBN is the problem. I do not think. I think the rate of the approach to governance is the problem. We have was not the way Nigeria finish show Nigeria, but the way it have derailed